All right, folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. We're going to stay focused on this segment. This segment is about the Senate pick, Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, and the Senate pick that he has. He gets a free pick right there that he has to replace Johnny Isakson, the retiring senator, December 31st. And here we are, 11/25/19, and no indications. So, I already had somebody on Facebook, because I put a lot of posts up, okay? I already had somebody on Facebook say, would you please explain to us how this could result in a Democrat being our next senator? Could you please explain to us? Let me go to the end, and then we'll back out, kind of like that movie Pulp Fiction. Let's go to the end of the movie, okay? I really think some of the moves Governor Brian Kemp could help, okay, the Stacey Abrams gang, I know, easy, reel it in, could help this state, help them with their efforts to turn the state blue. I really, because I'm going to tell you something, once one is elected. The second thing is, I am going to also say this morning that Governor Brian Kemp's actions can also help us send a Democrat to D.C. Now, let's go into the picture archive. Let me just go here and we'll start explaining. And we're going to go a little backwards here. So let's see here. Number 20, Johnny Isakson. So let's go with that first, okay? Now there's Johnny. Johnny is the senator. He is retired. He's of ill health. He's not feeling well, and he's pretty sick, older guy, and he says, hey, December 31st is my last day on the job. So he gave the governor of Georgia a, I don't know, was it 4-month, 5-month? He gave, it wasn't a 2-week notice that I'm out of the job. He gave the governor of Georgia plenty of time. So if Johnny Isakson did anything I agree with as senator, he did give Governor Kemp plenty of time to methodically choose the right candidate and appoint to replace him. Now, Johnny's considered a around Atlanta suburban Republican, okay? They say he is not a conservative, okay? We're not talking about his health. Johnny's not a conservative, not at all, all right? And he's retiring, and this is the state's opportunity to put a conservative in place. And I can already hear the yelling from some names out there where you're calling Doug Collins a conservative. I'm going to explain Congressman Collins to you in a little bit. Now, so Johnny is leaving, and he is a suburban. Now, I don't know. He is a suburban Atlanta appeaser. I don't know. Anyway. So I don't know if he has said something to Brian Kemp, or Brian Kemp, the governor, feels he has to go down the line of Isakson for some balance in Georgia. I don't know. So he's retiring. He's out. Now, that being said, let me flip real quick to 18, Doug Jones. Doug Jones is the current senator. He's the current senator of Alabama. You know what he is? And I got to do this way. Doug Jones is the current senator from Alabama, and he's a Democrat, right? What's this got to do with the price of tea in Savannah? Alabama, you and I would have never thought that the citizens of Alabama would elect a Democrat again unless it was in 1960. We just did not think that. There was no way under the sun. Now, whether we liked it or not, we felt Alabama, right? You could put up the worst Republican you could find, Roy Moore, and you couldn't lose Alabama, but they did. What did they lose Alabama in? A jungle election. Jungle election. We'll tell you what that is, okay? That's how they lost it. Now, let's get off of that. Now, we know that he is going to be challenged if he wins the primary. We'll just throw it in here just for good measure, number 19. So now Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions is going to run for his seat again. Doug Jones took his seat when he was appointed Attorney General. And that won't happen with Johnny Isakson. He won't be coming back. But the odds are that Alabama can turn back to two Republican senators, not a Democrat. So, and this all happened the same way in Alabama. So let's start here. Okay, here's Congressman Doug Collins. So I don't have all the dates, so everybody relax. Number 12. Now, Congressman Doug Collins filled out his application early on. He played by the rules. So, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm put up on the website, apply here. Send us your resume, write us a letter why you think you would make a great senator, on and on. So not anticipating he had the job. Now here's the one thing I want to say. And it really irks me with the Atlanta media and some of the people's comments that Collins recently said, if not picked, he would consider running anyway. I don't blame the congressman because something doesn't smell right here, okay? Something doesn't pass the smell test in Atlanta. Something doesn't pass the country club meeting that maybe took place. Maybe, all right? Something doesn't pass the political Republican machine that's going on down there at the Capitol and a move for power. Something doesn't pass all the mustard, as they say. Now, Congressman Doug Collins, you can't take the guy, you can't just start, giving him a hard time because he says he might run. Because look, he played by the rules. Right? I mean, the day there were, you have Jan Jones, Martha Zoller, former radio talk show host today, she worked for David Perdue. She worked for Governor Nathan Deal. She worked in Brian Kemp's campaign. All right. She played by the rules. Congressman Collins played by the rules. 500 people applied. Well, the first week the window went open to put your resumes in, a week or two, Congressman had his in. I don't know the exact date, right? He said, you know what? I'm not gonna pretend like I'm different from anybody else. Let's get clarity on this, okay? Because there's a lot of BS that surrounds this. Congressman doesn't say, hey, I'm going to push my friendship with the president. Hey, I'm going to drive home this. Hey, I'm going to drive home that I'm the ranking Republican on the judiciary and I have been the defender of the president of the United States that is polling very high in my district and Georgia. None of that. Respectfully didn't make comments. Respectfully went on shows and said, hey, I respect the decision of the governor of Georgia. Yes, I am interested. That's why I put in the application. I'll go to the interview like anybody. If a business leader gets interviewed on Monday and he calls me in on Tuesday, I'll do it just like anybody else. I will not push that I'm any different. I called his office personally. I tried to get him several times where his office wouldn't push, I'm Doug Collins. It didn't happen. So you got to back off that for anybody that thinks didn't happen. Look at the beginning when the guy submitted his resume and submitted his application just like anybody else in Georgia, right? Now, obviously, behind the scenes, maybe some whispers, hey, can you talk to the governor? That happens. It happens. But publicly, high respect for the office of the governor. So anybody out there saying that Congressman Doug Collins and the President of the United States, is trying to put pressure on Brian Kemp, Let's think about when that happened. Focus, focus, bring it into focus. Not when he applied. Why, Congressman Collins didn't apply on Monday and the president called on Tuesday unless it's something I don't know. But guess what? Then the window, you remember? The window closed. It was the last day to apply. Now, let me ask you a question. If you've waited all this time, I'll say 4 months, it might be 3, I don't know. But if you wait 3 months or more, and you apply in the first 2 weeks, and you're told you get the word out there is the window to apply for Senate for Brian Kemp to consider you, the governor, is this day. And you are a multi-millionaire. I don't know if she's a billionaire. I don't know. And you got a very big job. And you're rolling in the dough. Why do you take a chance of losing that job and submit that resume right at the very end if you don't know something? Now, I don't know that this lady knows anything where this is concerned. I don't know. I don't know if she's tipped off. I don't know if she's known all along she was going to be the pick. I do not know. But it don't add up because she didn't put her, and let's go with number 9, is this Kelly Loeffer, right? She didn't put her resume in like everybody else. Now I say like everybody else meaning early on, okay? Now, she put her resume in, and I'm going to see, I think I have it here. I have so many articles up on this. Georgia Senate, a high-profile executive raises her hand for Isaacson's job. A head of financial services firm who co-owns an Atlanta NBA franchise applied Monday. This was November 19th from Greg Bluestein of the AJC. Applied Monday for Georgia's U.S. Senate job, becoming the highest profile business executive to seek Georgia Brian Kemp's appointment to the seat. Kelly Loeffler seems certain to be a top-tier contender for the position. More than 500 people have submitted resumes ahead of Monday's deadline, okay? So she's a Republican mega donor to Mitt Romney. Yes. A Republican mega donor to Paul Ryan. She is what we call a country club Republican. Her credentials with and her ties to the WNBA and her team and all the above put her smack dab in the middle of Planned Parenthood and WNBA's support for Planned Parenthood. Okay? In her press release that she put out, or her release or her statement about her application, you won't find pro-life in there, okay? If she was to go to Washington, D.C. as a senator, the liberal left will attack her so hard, we'll see if she can stick to her guns and make decisions, conservative decisions. So I think what we need to see here, now wait a minute. So country club, elite Republican, all right? Number 12. Not country club, defender of the president. Listen, for those that don't like Doug Collins just grew up in the 9th District at a time in Gainesville where it wasn't as big as it is today, and people call it, a big city over there in Gainesville, but Doug Collins just grew up son of a Georgia State patrolman in a meager household. I'm not endorsing, but I know him, so I got to say he's a good guy. And I'm not saying Kelly Loeffler's not a very nice lady. So let's look at this. Doug Collins, congressman of the third most Republican district in the United States of America. Congressman in the ninth district's the third most Republican district. Okay? Now, Governor Brian Kemp, we get a little deeper on this, all right? Governor Brian Kemp, number 11, recently, we'll say recently, received some messages from the President of the United States, maybe even a phone call, and, this is Kemp and Trump butting heads, okay? And I think Mr. President Trump, which ended up down in Macon the weekend before the election, and I do feel very strongly pulled the governor's ass over the finish line. I do. I like my governor, but I believe that. Called and said, Collins has done a good job. Collins is definitely been the leader in trying to knock down Nadler and defend me in the House of Representatives. He is in the top 5 guys. Jim Jordan, you name it, Ratcliffe, Nunes. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I would just like to suggest that you pick Doug for senator. All right, now I don't like to say anybody deserves anything. Got it? But maybe the president's words is, he's worked hard. He's a defender of mine. He is going to look good on the ticket. I mean, when we run, he's going to look good on the ticket. And if I'm going to pull the coat strings, this is not what he said. If you're going to ride my coattails, Republicans in Georgia, because you will, I need Collins on the ticket. I want to see him on the ticket. All right. What's Kemp going to do? Because I must say this, and I'm not saying that President Donald Trump would withhold anything from Georgia. Just easy. But if I was on the phone with him, and I just listened to the transcript or read the transcript of his conversation with President Zelensky of Ukraine, and they're trying to impeach him, saying he withheld $400 million of military aid to Ukraine. I think what I would do is say, I don't want that dude to withhold anything I don't want him to withhold anything where Georgia's concerned. All right? Just not saying he would. But, so, we have a decision here. Now go back to Collins. I want to tell you, I read Facebook page messages. Go back to number 12, leave it up there. Okay. Now let me explain a little bit about the congressman in the 9th District. Third most Republican district in the United States of America. Second, when he ran as a Georgia House Senator against several others, he got elected in the 9th District. He won. All right. He had enough of the Republican power in the state of Georgia with money behind him that he was able to run a very strong campaign. I covered it very well. And this is where I got to know the congressman. After he was elected, he went to a cesspool of Washington, D.C. Now, when Congressman Collins was first elected, and I think it's 6 years ago now, would this be his 4th term if he ran? But I'll say 6 years ago. When he was first elected, okay, the first time he came home from Congress, first break, goes up there, gets sworn in, first break. He comes home and he does, I call it the circuit. He goes to different Republican parties. He should, and give reports. So I'll never forget, I went to 2 different Republican parties in the 9th District, first time he came home from Washington, D.C. And I'll never forget his report and him saying, the best thing The best thing about it was the smell of Delta jet fuel heading south. Getting out of there. He told us early on it was a cesspool. He told us early on it was just his first time up there. He walked into Paul Ryan, he walked into John Boehner, okay, being Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. He knew the only way to get things for the state of Georgia, his district, and get himself in position where he can make a difference, he had to work through some channels. So these are my words. He never told me this. I just watched. So he voted for some omnibus spending bills, and all hell broke loose in the 9th District with a couple groups. And I agreed with him. Okay, I agreed with him. And I called his office many days, and I called his office, I told his field representatives, 2 things I know about your district. 1, they don't like Paul Ryan. And 2, they don't like Mitch McConnell. And they did not like you voting for an omnibus bill. All right? But what Collins knew all along was the winds would shift. And if he would get himself in position to where they kept elevating him to ranking member and hopefully, high-level membership, that eventually he could be the chair of one of these committees and be in position to make the things happen that he always wanted to do. And you're seeing that in the last 2 years. The last, 3 years of this guy's 3 out of 6. I'm not saying he changed, but you've seen where he's gotten in position, and now there seems to be a shift, not Adam, and how he supports the President of the United States. Who's gone? Who's lording over these people? Not Paul Ryan, not John Boehner. Look at how many of those Republicans are gone. And Congressman Collins is there. I'm going to say this. I know I'm going to probably catch hell that I've sit here and endorsed him for senator and endorsed him, period. I'm just telling you what I've watched. You don't have to believe anything. I know it for a fact what I watched. Let me tell you what I watched this guy do. And you know, okay, how many times he's been on this show. And I will ask the questions. And nothing will change about that. Nothing will change of asking this guy the hard questions and put him on the spot and saying, answer this question. But here's what I know. The congressman knows how to move the ball. Now, Republicans, we have a group of Republicans in Georgia that want to throw a Hail Mary pass, get in the end zone, and say touchdown. I'm good with that. But when do you throw those passes for a touchdown? When the game is on the line, right? But as you're playing the game, the goal is to move the ball. And I'm telling you, the guy knows how to move the ball. If you watch this guy's career, from the day he got elected, from a Georgia State senator, from, the son of a Georgia State patrolman in Georgia, all right, that has work ethic. He has work ethic. If you watch that all the way through, he knows how to move the ball. And look at his career now. I hate to call it a career. I am sorry. I can't stand political careers. I'm going to back that up. I can't stand political careers. But look what he's done since he got elected. Now, one more thing, and I'm going to take a break because I want to stay on this for a little longer. And I want to push these segments together. But that being said, now listen, Trump supporters out there, okay, Trump defenders, Republicans alike, the people that don't like this guy, you know who you are. The 9th District of Georgia is the 3rd most Republican district in the United States. What does that mean? It's safe in Republican hands. Now, don't take that wrong. That doesn't mean the congressman can just forget about the 9th District. It means that, A, if he's picked to be the next senator, the 9th District should safely remain in Republican control, so we shouldn't lose the 9th District, number one. Number two, he can win a statewide election, all right? Because this guy is very well known, name recognition, all right? And people know he's been one of the top. You just take 5. It says the President of the United States was sworn in. This guy's in the top 5 list. That from the House of Representatives, from the minority side. The Senate's easy. Don't take this wrong. I like Senator David Perdue, but it's easy for Senator David Perdue to defend the president. They're in the majority over there. With the work, I'll say 5. The work is over in the House and the minority to keep battling and fighting, and this guy has. Number 2, we know we need the House of Representatives back, right? Let me tell you something. We know that. And what do we know? Is all the things that we want President to drain the swamp in a second term could happen if we have a majority in the House of Representatives that will actually have a Speaker of the House that will actually issue subpoenas. This man, I'm not going to say he's not the only one, because there's a lot of them. This man is crisscrossing the country. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't go home and see his family. I don't get into that. I don't have his calendar. But when he gets the opportunity to go home, to be with his family, he flies to Iowa. He flies to Pennsylvania. Check his schedule. It's public. He flies all over. Why? To help Republicans raise money. Why? To help Republicans win districts. He has strategically picked district after district, state after state, where he could help any way he possibly can to get a Republican majority. Fact. The congressman has done as much as anybody on the Republican side to try to crisscross the country and get Republicans back in leadership. Governor Kemp, if he picks Kelly Loeffer, go with number 9, to be the senator, because he thinks he can get suburban Atlanta country club support with this mega millionaire, maybe billionaire, I don't know. If he thinks he could do that, ooh, lordy, lordy, the 9th District. Be careful, Mr. Governor. We'll take a break. We're going to keep this together. We're going to stay right in this line. Take a break. Hey folks, good Monday morning. I'm your host BKP. Sorry about the minute delay there. I was trying to get some things. Let's see what I got here. I got a couple text messages. All right. Okay. No, I don't. Thank you. Let's see what else I got. See if I got anything else. I'm trying to get settled in here. Happy Thanksgiving week, folks, and thank you for tuning in this morning to our program. Now, there is our phone number right there. It is right here. Do not hesitate to text me in the middle. Maybe if you text me and you want to be on the show to discuss something, I can get you on the show. Here's how this is going to go, folks. First of all, I'm going to have a Marco Rubio moment, get it all over my shirt too. We all remember Marco Rubio. Republican response one night to a State of the Union. I think he took the drink of water and was never forgotten about it. It was never forgotten about. I think I'll get my glasses. There's Ella J, Georgia this morning, 802fyntv.com. Now, here's what we're going to talk about this morning. I don't want to hear impeachment. Now, we will talk about that this week, okay? I've had enough with hearing Adam Schiff. The American people have had enough. That is playing in a circle. in a circle called the Beltway around Washington, D.C. It's not playing. There are polling data. It's polling data out there that says that the impeachment is not playing across America quite the way they would hope. All right? So we're going to talk about what could happen in Georgia. Now listen to me real close. How Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, could help turn the state blue. Now I just enraged some of you, but I am going to lay this out, how he could help participate in turning the state blue. We need to figure out how to unify our Republican Party in the state of Georgia, because what may happen over the Senate pick, all right, with Kelly out there, Loeffler, is that her name? We'll get to it. And Doug Collins and the President of the United States and Brian Kemp, we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the 6th District. Why? Now, I would like to know why. I don't. I'm going to be candid. I don't. I don't have. There's a power play. There's a political power play in Georgia that concerns me at this time. Okay? It's around the state. It's state offices, state representatives, state senators, the Senate, okay, with Collins and Kelly, the 6th District. All right. Now, if I could sit outside the 6th District and look in and see what happened where Karen Handel was concerned with John Ossoff, all right, where she lost to Lucy McBath, seemed like Brandon Beach and a couple other candidates were some pretty good candidates in for the 6th District, the Republican primary. But everybody's bailing out, except for Marjorie Greene, okay? Everybody is bailing out of the 6th District. We're going to talk about that in a minute. There's only one candidate opposing Karen Handel. I guess the question I'm going to ask you is, could you text me or tell me in any way whatsoever why everybody has jumped on board with Karen Handel? Why was Brandon Beach not able to get any traction? Purdue, the governor, you name it. They have jumped on board supporting Karen Handel, and I'm a little interested in that. Both senators. All right, so let's move past that. We're going to talk about that. Now, I told you it's Thanksgiving week. I don't want to talk about, we'll talk about impeachment. I got 2 hours a day. We're going to be here, just to let you know, right out of the box. We're not going to be here Thursday and Friday, okay? We are going to enjoy, okay? We are going to enjoy Thursday and Friday. We're going to enjoy the time off. You're going to enjoy it with your family. You're going to eat the turkey, the ham, or whatever you guys have designated to be your Thanksgiving feast. Okay? So we'll talk about that a little later. It's over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. Everyone's going. So it won't be here Thursday or Friday. Now, I said last week, all right, that you have the new graphic. You know what I'm talking about. This is your chance. See if you know where I'm going. What a great job. So be one of the first 20. And trust me, I started playing with this a week ago, and I think I'm in the single digits now. But now we're going to go out and put it to all the internet world there, the World Wide Web. Merry Christmas, FYN. Just text me. Merry Christmas, FYN, BKP, all right, to 706-889-9700, because I only have 20, and you'll receive a free FYN. That's our new logo. It's our new branding. You see on the bottom of the screen, FYNTV.com, and there is our new branding for the Fetch Your News right there. First 20 to text me at that number will get one. Shipping and handling's covered free. Okay? So, there's something else I want to talk about. We're going to do this. Because if you watch, go ahead and leave that up for a minute so people know, but if you watch the media, CNN, I mean, damn it, take a week off, all right? I mean, is your head ready to explode? Are you turning it off if you hear Russia, 2016 election, Ukraine, okay? If you hear impeachment, if you hear the president's quid pro quo, if you hear any of this anymore, are you ready to explode? Because I'll tell you what, I just said this a minute ago, it's not playing in America. And they're begging you to listen. They will not let you. Now, Thursday, all the networks will try to do just little puff stories, okay? You're waking up to and I have it here, we'll do it in a minute. You're waking up to the commander of the Navy, is that what it is, being fired? Folks, just like the Ukrainian scam impeachment, and just like, okay, the 10 people that testified last week and raised their hand and swore to tell the truth, the only thing that came out of that is Donald Trump does not do things methodically as they feel they need to be done. He doesn't do it the normal way, okay? But he didn't break any laws. As President of the United States, the Founding Fathers wanted all of us to challenge things. And the President has challenged the way they do things. He didn't break the law in any which way. Ambassadors, you name it. State Department didn't break the law. Now, let me just say this and we'll move on. The Pentagon, and everybody needs to realize, he's the commander-in-chief. Okay? I don't care if you like what he does or not. If every general, every colonel, every commander, it doesn't matter who you are, every single general, yes, sir, Mr. President. Okay? He is the commander-in-chief. Period. If he calls you up and says at the Pentagon, this is what we're going to do, that's what you do. Okay? And if you don't want to do it, just resign. Period. Commander-in-chief. All right, it's 8:11. We're going to take a brief break to get started because I want to come back and I want to go straight into the Senate bid. And I want to explain my layout and my concerns. Now, I still like my governor. Want to be clear for anybody out there that wants to say something. I like Governor Brian Kemp. I have my concerns. And I'm going to tell you before we come back, I know Congressman Doug Collins. All right? I know him. I don't know him as, I do not know him as State Senator Doug Collins. But I know him from the day he became candidate for Congress, became congressman, up to this day. Is that 7 years later, 7, 8 years, whatever? Very well. And I'm going to tell you why he needs to be picked over this country club Republican that Kemp is entertaining appointing. Let's take a break.